Want there's a little love section back there if y'all want to snuggle up.
Lord, got him right to the
Not the love section.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lord, not the love section.
Keep in mind, keep in mind, there's cameras up there, people.
No, I'm gonna behave. I swear.
Don't do anything your mama would want you to see. All right, so all right, so we're gonna get the show started. So if you'd like to invite anybody, now's the time to do so. Just to again kind of talk about how the seats work. I'm sorry they are a little glitchy. We did have an update today, and so they're not working the way they're supposed to. But basically now, what we can do if you want to ask a question, you can grab the red card. It's going to raise you. When you reach the top, you'll be global. To not become global, just grab the card again, and the seat lowers, and you should be back to the normal nearby voice. And again, we can save that for the question and answer segment of the show if you'd like to ask the guests some questions. Okay. All right. So, first of all, welcome to Meta Talks Live. This is show number 3 of season 3. I couldn't have done any of this without you. So I appreciate you all being here because you really could have been anywhere here in the tens of thousands of worlds that are now developing within this space. So really, really appreciate you guys being here. So tonight's guest, man, wow. Let me tell you first about our interaction and how we met, right? Because in conversation during the first car show, um, I had a poorly built vehicle enter into the contest. His vehicle was not so poorly built, so it started a conversation. But we found out we went to the same school together. We both attended Norfolk State University, which was pretty cool. Hadn't met anybody here at the time who had done so. So the next progression was, all right, well, let's potentially build something together revolving around HBCU. And honestly, I think once he saw my creations, he took off running. And I'm glad he did because what he's able to create now has been absolutely amazing. Um, he is really about the community, but he shows it through his builds and the types of experiences that he creates for his guests. And it's truly amazing to see somebody come into a space unknown of which direction to go as an artist, and then truly find his lane and become a pillar of the community. I'm not sure if there's anybody who hasn't doesn't recognize him, hasn't utilized his services, hasn't been to one of his worlds and felt something emotionally connected to it, based on his build quality and the way he makes his guests feel comfortable. So, without further ado, I would like to present to the stage tonight. I go by Price. Come on out, brother. Stage is
So
yours, brother.
thank you, thank you. It's always funny being on stuff like this and getting it from the other perspective. What's up, everybody? Um, I had a hard time kind of thinking about what I wanted to talk about. But Rupert, he gives a bunch of wisdom to me, a olive branch. He told me to talk about my purpose here in Horizon Worlds. Um, so I was thinking about what purpose means to me, what drives me to create what I create in here, and what kept popping into my mind is my best friend KJ is his name. He was the one in the pictures. If you've seen the post today on Instagram, he was the one in all the pictures with me. It's my best friend KJ. Um, I always like telling how we met because I felt like it was so unique and so special, like it was meant to happen, like kind of like divine intervention in a sense. When I was growing up, my parents were divorced. So I lived at the time in the city of Richmond, Virginia, and my dad lived in Verina, which is kind of still Richmond, Virginia, but it's kind of like a small town, really on the outskirts of the city. Like they meet at the city limits. Um, but during the summers, I would go with my dad, and he eventually put me into some summer camp. My third grade, going into fourth grade summer. So going into fourth grade summer, and I met KJ at that summer camp in the town that my dad lived in, and so he became my best friend at this summer camp. And he was one of those best friends that you would only see like during the summer. I don't know if anybody else can relate, but like if you go out of town or visit family, you have like people that you hang out with in, maybe a different location or a different state. And then every summer you come back around, you meet those same people. He was one of those. So following summer came, same thing. Hung out with KJ at the summer camp. We were really close, bonded over a lot of stuff. Um, and then we became like really truly best friends. So eventually, my mom moved us from the city into the county, and ended up living in Verona, where my dad is from. And my first day of school, it was sixth grade, right after September 11th. Actually, that Halloween coming up, like right after that. But I was going into the sixth grade. I didn't know anybody, didn't know what to expect. I get on the bus, and I actually forgot to mention this part. My other best friend, I have two best friends. One is KJ, one is Adam. Adam, I have met during church, in the small town that my dad lives in. We went to church in his town, and so I met Adam in church. We knew each other from when we were real little, real little, all the way up until this point. So just to kind of speed back up, going back into the sixth grade, and I moved to the area that my best friend KJ was from. My first day of school, I get on the school bus, and who do I see? I see my other best friend Adam from church on the back of the bus. I walk on the bus, and he's like, "Hey, Marcus," and I'm like, "Who is this calling my name?" Like, I'm a new person here. I don't know anybody really. Just because I was young, I didn't really know the area I was in at the time. But it was Adam, and I'm like, "Man, that's crazy that you're on my bus, like, and we're cool like that." So that was kind of a sigh of relief going into a new school and everything like that. And we look at each other's schedules on the bus and like, hey, we got our first class together. And I'm like, oh, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? I already know somebody. It's not going to be uncomfortable for me being in a new school, new environment, and everything. So we walked to our social studies class. That's what our first class was. And I hear my name again. I hear my name again, and it's actually KJ. KJ's calling my name now. My best friend from the summer camp. I will only see him in the summer. Come to find out, him and Adam was already best friends. So we have like a triangle of best friends. I know Adam all my life. I just met KJ 2 years prior to sixth grade, and we ended up like being three best friends. They already had a relationship as best friends, and they kind of pulled me into that triangle. But growing up, KJ was just like the light of the party. Like he was known for being kind and selfless, and never having any kind of angry bone in his body. And everybody who knew him, loved him, cherished him, valued him. And growing up, I just kind of looked up to him in a sense because he had qualities that I lacked. I was very kind of like standoffish, quiet. You know what I mean? He was the more outgoing one. So we kind of complimented each other as friends because we were best friends. The type that you see one of us, you see the other one. That's how we were. Um, and just growing up, he was just like always bringing people together, and I was just along for the ride in a sense. I'm of course a part of the party too. I like to laugh, joke, and have fun, but he really did truly bring people together, and like show people kindness all the time. I just remember every time we were out in high school, like if we were like go downtown or something like that, because he had license for me, he go downtown and go other places, skating rinks, like everywhere, movies, all that. But like when there's panhandlers or something on the corner or coming out of a store or something like that, um, me personally, I kind of like if I have something to give, I will, but I don't really give too often to those people personally. But KJ was always the one; he would always give something, like always, and I always admired that of him. I never told him that, but just like his character and his demeanor and how he treated people like was really inspiring to me my whole life. um he ended up passing away. um he had leukemia, and he got real sick like when we were and going into our late 20s. The last conversation I had was with him. I was optimistic, and he was essentially just telling me like, yeah, I'm gonna get this procedure done, everything's gonna be good. So I was optimistic. I didn't think anything, of it. I might have been, naive or whatnot. But when it was in my first year teaching, teaching art in Richmond, um, I think it was my mom that called me and told me you need to go see KJ. Excuse me. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. Um, my mom told me I needed to go see him, and I'm just like, Why? Like I just talked to him. He's good. He's actually going to be real good soon. He has a procedure coming up. You know that's going to take care of him. And she was like essentially like okay. And then she called me the next day and was like, no, you really need to go see him. This was in my first year of teaching, so I'm not really prepared to really take any trips and go out of town, leave my students. We were in a big project at the time. But after speaking to my sister as well, which is she's best friends with my best friend KJ's little brother, she was like, no, you really need to go see him. He's not doing sorry. She said, he's not doing good. And so I went down to see him. He was in law school at the time in Charleston, South Carolina. And me and my best friend Adam, we went to go see him. And I didn't recognize him. He had gotten so sick I didn't really recognize him. And I cried because our entire life of us, you know, being kids, having fun, spending time together, growing up together, I never thought about like never thought about like life without him. And so on the way back from seeing him, I'm driving back and I have to be in class the next morning, by the way, because I'm a teacher. I have to be back. So I'm on the way home and after seeing him, he was like real sick in his apartment. He was pretty much in hospice. And on the way home, I got the phone call that he had passed away. That that trip from Charleston, South Carolina back home has been like the longest trip of my life. I sometimes think, did I truly like value our friendship, our brotherhood to its fullest potential? Because now that he's gone, and I know I can't make new memories with him, he's my oldest son's godfather. Now that I can't make new memories with him, what am I gonna do? Like, we were inseparable pretty much. Like I said, you see him, you see me. This was my brother. Like, blood couldn't make us thicker for real. Um, but so he passed away from leukemia, and I will always get a sense of like, I don't know, I'm sure everybody else experiences this, but like loved ones that you've lost, like you feel them sometimes, you know. It might be a sign like, I don't know, an animal or something comes up and you just feel a particular person's spirit that you had lost, loved one family member. Um, I feel KJ's spirit all the time. I personally feel like the energy that he had, the charisma, the selflessness, like all these great qualities everybody knew him for. Because again, no one had any kind of ill will towards him at all. I can't think of a person that had any kind of beef with him at all from the entire time that I knew him. But everything that he embodied as a person was special for me, like looking up to him. And so me myself, I'm a little, standoffish. I'm a little less outgoing. I'm quiet. I'm reserved. Like his energy just transformed from a physical form to like just the energy, a spirit that I can feel. That's inside of me because he shared his life with me. And that was my best friend. So to relate that to Horizon Worlds, all of my worlds that I've created, like every single one, has a deeper meaning that people don't know about. Some of them, like the basement, for instance, is related to KJ. How KJ was always wanting to bring people together. We have a whole group of like a tight circle of friends. We call each other the crew. Me and him kind of started that whole thing. It was a situation where we were out for the summer. I think it was the summer going into college. So we were all graduating high school. And he was like, hey, Marcus, you should get everybody up at your house. We should do something with everybody. We sent out text messages to like everybody in our phone books. and whoever came ended up being in that tight circle. Now, some people have fallen out of that circle, some people have come into that circle, but it was something that he started. So with Horizon Worlds, my events that I do, the worlds that I create, like it's to bring people together because it's KJ living through me. Because normally I wouldn't be that type of person, but me wanting to share his light with people, share his energy, his spirit to keep him alive, I create what I create. So this platform, Horizon Worlds, is real special to me because it allows me to kind of have therapy in build mode. I don't know if y'all pay attention to that to my Instagram, but sometimes I post stuff that just put the caption like pieces of me. Like that's all I say is pieces of me because certain things just have a backstory that like I might be working through or reliving. It might be sad, it might be joyous, but it's what I put in here. This is my canvas. Horizon Worlds is my canvas. I don't have to purchase materials. I have an endless supply. All I need is like my imagination. So to kind of come full circle with the whole thing about like purpose, I use my life experiences, the people I've met, like just little things to inspire. KJ is one of those people. He inspires me to bring people together, be more respectful, be more kind, be more loving to people because their love is free. It costs nothing to love somebody, to treat people with respect. And that's what he taught me in our friendship together, the life that we had together before he passed. So when you talk about purpose in Horizon Worlds, like I've said this many times on other people's platforms, but like you want to build with the purpose, you want to build with an idea of mine of inspiration that means something to you. Because at the end of the day, I know some people are in here for numbers and some people are not. But this truly is a place where you can, express yourself, and it could be like a therapy session for you. You can pull from a memory of trauma even and pull it out in here, and it be a sense of relief for you. You know. Um. So going back into like KJ and his influence on me, the basement, for instance, he used to always want to play Taboo, and I built the basement literally as a space to play the game Taboo. I don't know if you all know, that's the game where you have two people up, one person has a card for their team. It's a word at the top, and there's a couple words at the bottom. You're trying to get your team to say the word at the top. And then the other person that's up there is from the other team to make sure you don't say any of the words that you're not supposed to say. But that game, me and KJ, we really had like, I don't know, like some twin psychic, like, I don't know. We would used to rattle off 18 cards in the little 60 seconds or however long that little timer is. But like we had a connection over that. And the memory of that inspired me to create the basement. So people could come in with their friends that they meet in here. A lot of people have built real bonds and relationships in here. Connecting with people, like just bringing people to that space and sharing something that I had with my best friend that was special to me, and you all can experience with the new friends that you make in here. Like stuff like that is my inspiration. Um, it's not about like money, although that's something I aspire to create this into a career. But for me, it's the art first, it's the expression first, you know? Because I feel like when you create things that directly, inspire you or influence you, the people who will be in your worlds more prominently are people who align with you, you know? Um, so my purpose in Horizon Worlds is to just share my life experiences in little ways. Some are more recognizable than others, and then there's a lot of subliminal stuff in my worlds too, where there's a story behind it or something like that. Because that's just how I choose to create and express myself. And I think part of that is because I don't feel like I do a great job at expressing myself with words. So I express myself through art. It's been that way my entire life. I've been in art class from probably pre-K to 12th grade. And then I went off to college, Norfolk State, Shout out to Root. And pursued a degree in graphic design and fine arts, and then got into teaching for a little bit and everything. So art has been like a real big part of my life, and my influence has always been like my little experiences and things like that, and my friends, my family, music. Oh my God, music definitely is a huge influence for me. But I just want to provide a space in here for people to connect, for people to build those relationships that they make in here, for them to be genuine and whole. Um, that's part of the reason I built the questions world, because I noticed in my R&B lounge, people would try to have conversations, and it was a little difficult. I've heard some awkward conversations. So I wanted to build a space to have people come together there at 143 questions, you, me, and 143 questions, to get to know each other. And the questions, some of them, aren't serious. They're silly questions, because getting to know someone, like the little small aspects, the little, like, I guess, quirks about them, that makes a bond tighter, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I do. I care to know if you put peanuts, like, you like crunchy peanut butter or you like creamy peanut butter. Like, that means something to me, like little things like that. So yeah, my influence is my friends and my family, and music, and my little experiences, whether they're good, sad, happy experiences, times I was mad. Um, and I let that influence my worlds and my builds and the experiences that I want other people to have in this space. Um, I think that's actually all I have to say. Sorry for getting emotional. Losing a brother is definitely hard. Anybody have any questions? Burton?
You hear me up there?
Yeah.
Well, good. I just want to say I'm in the airport right now, trying to go back home. I made sure I came in here to catch you speak, man. And
I
I wanted to
appreciate
say
you.
you don't have to apologize for nothing. Um, it's very hard to lose somebody that's, you know what I'm saying, real close to you, but it's even harder to come out that shell once that person is gone. You know what I'm saying? And to be your
Yeah.
true self and to be in your purpose of who you are. So I just want to commend you for actually having the bravery, you know what I'm saying, to utilize this as an outlet. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To keep his memory alive, because I've done the same thing with my AAU program and with my nephew. So I definitely can relate to what you're doing and how your best friend, your brother, resonates with you and what you do in this metaverse. And I want to say I appreciate you for everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? All the words that
Yeah.
you got. And I mean, if you ever need somebody to talk to, bro, in regards to, you know what I'm saying, what you went through or another outlet, I got you anytime.
I appreciate that, man.
No
I
doubt.
appreciate that. Yeah, it's kind of funny how like death works, because you think about people who passed away, especially prominent figures. Like, normally when somebody dies, it causes like a wave, like a movement, you know what I mean? And I think that's part of that person's spirit leaving their body, you know. And all of us are energy, you know. We were all technically here before we were born, in a sense. And that energy is transferable, because they say energy can't be, you know what I'm saying, created or destroyed, you know. So that energy that we talk about, that spirit people have, like, once we leave our physical form, I mean, there will be a spirit left, I would think, that, you know, escapes out of the body, and how I see the world, into everybody that person has touched, that person has impacted. You know what I mean? Like, so with that being said, like, be like kind and courteous to how you touch people, how you impact people, because impacting people literally is meaning touching people. You know what I mean? Be courteous to that. Be a light in people's life, especially the people you choose to keep around you. Be genuine with those people. Love on those people. Make sure they're aware that you love them, because you really don't know. Like, your significant other, mother, father, brother, sister, they could be gone literally tomorrow. And you look back and you think, like, did I do enough? Was I a bright enough light in their life? In their life, you know what I mean? So definitely always, like, moving forward, consider like how you are in other people's lives. Like, how do you enhance their life? Because we should all be enhancing other people's lives because we all have something special about us, some type of characteristic that's going to inspire the other person, like your friends and stuff, which we should share other people's experiences that we've learned from other people, even with everyone else. And that includes yourself. Like everybody in this room, everybody on this earth should believe that they are special in such a way they shouldn't be selfish and they should want to share their self with other people. Did you have a question? The chocolate latte.
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So my question for you was, I'm not quite sure. I didn't get to catch the beginning, but
Yeah.
when you came into Horizon World, do you feel like you're meeting what you wanted to do here? Or did you have something that you wanted to do in particular when you started?
That's a good question. Thank you for that. Um, when I came into Horizon Worlds, I didn't even know what it was, like for real. Like I had venues and then I just went to Horizon Worlds. Um, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that someone like myself could create a world. I thought like Facebook was making all the worlds. And then I met Hardy West like a lot of people did. I had a conversation with him, found out he was just a regular guy and he didn't work for Facebook. And so that's when I started like making my R&B lounge because there wasn't an R&B lounge that I knew of in Horizon Worlds, and I'm a real big fan of Horizon Worlds if y'all are not aware. Um, but I think I Horizon Worlds has exceeded my expectations essentially. Like I find it to be like magic in a sense. Like my imagination can run wild on a grid. You know what I mean? Um, everything as a kid that I imagined in a dream or I don't know, daydreaming, like I could do in here. I could relive experiences. I can make a place for people to come and hang out, party, have fun. I could build something that's, really thought provoking and emotional too in an art space like this. And that's the thing about Horizon Worlds too. Everybody's world is literally a work of art. It doesn't even have to be a gallery like some of us have in here that holds physical artwork in there. The world itself is art. So like I was mentioning during my whole conversation, like treat every world as art. Bring a piece of you into that. Like don't build something just to say, oh, I'm gonna just throw this up. Like no. Like pull from within yourself. Like put pieces of you out there, especially if you have something special to share, because we all need that. But Horizon Worlds, to answer your question, has exceeded my expectations and what I thought it was and what it is to me now. I would say like the little jingle that comes on when you cut your Oculus on and you cut the Horizon Worlds app. I can't even remember how it goes right now. But that jingle that you hear in December and in January, when I used to hear that, it felt like magic. But now the magic is kind of like, I don't want to say it's diminished, but it's not magic no more. It feels like home now. I feel like I'm walking into the crib is what it felt like to me now. You got a question?
So yeah, so hi Price, how are you?
Yep, I'm good.
First of all, we're with you rather seriously. I think Burden said it. You've made an impact in this space, and we care about you. So first and foremost, know that you always have a friend somewhere in here in case you need it. Okay.
Yeah, I love y'all.
And we alums, so I definitely
Yeah.
got your back, green and gold. Um, but let me ask you, as an artist and a creative, walking into a space where anything is possible,
Mhm.
what was the one world or build that really got you activated when you saw it?
Um,
It's good.
that's a good question, and I have to rethink like going through these builds and the process that I do, like I go through to create. Because like I told you recently, like I get inspired on the grid. Like I might have an idea, like, oh, I think I want to build a barbershop for this particular reason. I don't know what that barbershop necessarily is going to look like when I'm walking in there. I just get on the grid, I stand there, and I pull a shape out, and it just organically becomes what it becomes. Um, I'm sorry, I kind of got off to a point that I was going to make, but I'm not going to make it no more. Can you repeat your question? one more time for me? Because I kind of lost it a little bit.
Yeah. So as a creative,
Yeah.
walking around in a space where anything is possible, what was a world that really activated you to see what was possible in this space that got you started? Or excited?
Um, got you. I'm gonna have to say my questions world. At the time when I made it, it was you, me, and 134 questions. Some of my worlds release and don't get a lot of traction, but that's okay because, like I said, I build from my heart. Um, that particular world has more than one backstory and meaning. Um, but to see people go there and truly appreciate it. Like it has kind of like a cult following in a sense. Because not a lot of people still know about that world. But when people go there, I get DMs on Instagram and messages on the Oculus about people who have taken someone they met in here romantically maybe and have gone there and they have strengthened their relationship. They have like met each other in person because of building a bond from that particular world. That blows my mind. Something I created from whatever influenced me to create it, it touches other people. Like that's special to me, and that's what will keep me creating in here. Having people bond and stuff like that over something that I have created, and people use it for its intended purpose, and to see it flourish for those who actually need it. I've had people message me about that world that said, "Yeah, I'm not really like a people person. I'm an introvert. Da 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 da." But I went into that world. There was a couple of people in there I met, and we got to talking and had a great conversation for like over an hour. And now we're friends on the Oculus. Like that's what we're here for. This is a social application. It's a social application. So go out there and meet new people that you wouldn't normally meet in the real world because you all are on the other side of the country or something like that. Yeah, what's your question, Blaine? How you doing?
I didn't mean to go up. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good. What's up, Nanya? You're on mute, by the way. Oh, you didn't mean to go up either? Everybody's just got
I
the
didn't mean to
hydraulics
do that
jumping.
either. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I thought I wasn't going up because I was looking at him. We were the same height.
Yeah.
I would do want to say I appreciate you sharing your story, though. I know that that's really. I would like to say that I appreciate you sharing your story as a nurse. I know that's really hard for people to talk about those things in their lives, but
Yeah.
it's you help so many open up about their own situations, and whenever
Mhm.
you are able to do things like that, it brings up. I'm not crying right now. I was tearing up a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
I'm actually sick, but thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I appreciate that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Definitely want to say, you got all of us crying. Um, but I mean, definitely, appreciate you, man. Like, definitely of like, in terms of making genuine relationships and friendships in here, like, it's most of the people in this, a lot of these people in this room, like, definitely one of those people, just a genuine person. I really appreciate you for that. My question is just how, from like going through like that experience and now like kind of pouring that out into everything you build. Like, I definitely agree. Like, everything you're doing here is for a purpose, and you never know who you meet in this platform and how
Yeah.
you can be a light into somebody else. How has that have you felt like all of the things that you built in here and everything kind of like unlocked something in you into like pushing your creativity just like beyond what you thought it was going to be?
Um, Hold on, let me make sure I got your question right. So you're trying to figure out how has creating in here expanded my creativity? Is that the gist? Okay. Um, Horizon Worlds and building in here has expanded my creativity because it's given me honestly a like a extra boost in drive, because it's one thing to create something like I was mentioning out of influence and memories and stuff like that, but to see the reaction from people, like it influences me to want to create more and share more about myself. So not only by doing that is that therapeutic for me, which is great. I get also the benefit of seeing other people happy and, joyous. Like I throw events and people hit me up like, "Hey, you haven't done an event in a while. What's going on?" Like people checking for me. Like I know I'm impacting the people like I want to. Um and seeing that just wants me to create more experiences for people, you know. Some of them moving forward might not be as like fun and joyous. They might be something where people might need to break down and cry and, you know, deal with things, you know what I mean. um Being able to create freely in here, just simply that in itself just maximizes my thought process and my imagination and my creativity, because it is limitless in here. Like you can really build anything with these shapes that they give us, honestly, because the world is made up of shapes. You just have to look at things and see them. um it's just, it boils down to how much time you want to put in, to learn and to put that time in to create something and make it look realistic or whatever the case may be. Yeah. You got a question, CJ? My brother.
Yeah, brother. You got me crying. I'm mad at you because you got me crying.
Right, bro.
Yeah, crying in the background. I was like, ugh. And you told me you was gonna do it, but I was like, I didn't
Yeah.
believe you. But you
Said it
got me
might get
crying.
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. So my question to you is, if metal would allow us to have unlimited capacity, what would you build?
Hold on, my headset kind of freezing. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yep.
you.
Okay, because my headset doing that thing where I could see like the black abyss to my right and left, and then the screen froze. But if y'all can hear me though,
Right?
if Horizon Worlds would give me unlimited capacity, honestly, like touching on what I've touched on tonight, I would probably map out my whole life in a timeline. The good, the bad, the ugly. So if I ever needed to go back and, you know, feel like I need to have a conversation with my grandfather, for instance, I could make the whole living room scene from our Christmas that we had together, where I remember him in a bag of peanuts pulling out dollar bills. My grandmother had put dollar bills and stuff like that in a big bag of peanuts for him, and he was just pulling all the money out of the peanuts. Like, and I was only like probably one at the time, but I remember seeing that video. So like things like that, like I make a whole timeline of my life, of all my memories that I can remember, to keep it like in this space. So I could share that with people and of course, relive it for myself. Y'all still hear me because y'all still froze and I don't hear nothing.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, it's like really, really frozen my Oculus, like
Yeah,
really
we can hear
froze.
you.
All right, cool. But yeah, that's, I guess, to answer your question. I can't see who has a question anymore because it's frozen. But if y'all can still hear me and someone has a question, just if you could just speak. Might be the water in my Oculus. I don't know. The tears. I hope everybody in here has cried in their Oculus at least once at somebody's world. Because I know I've cried in a couple people's world.
Hey, Price, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, this is Dirt Dig, man.
Oh, what's up, man?
First, I want to say appreciate you for sharing, bro. I wasn't in the building, but I stood outside and listened. I didn't want to come in and be a distraction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate it.
On a lighter note, though,
Yeah,
I know that you are R&B man. So so I got to get it out you right now. I got to put you on the spot. Let me get that top three, bro.
Top three artists or top three songs or top three
Artists.
Top three artists. Is this currently or just all time?
Oh, no, period.
Period. Some of these might actually be tying in neo soul too, but I kind of sometimes categorize that into R&B. I'm gonna do this as like, I'm not gonna say top like overall as career. This is just me personally and how their music has touched my life.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna say Musiq Soulchild, and this is in no particular order. Musiq Soulchild, Somebody y'all may
Classic.
not know. His name is Cy Ari the Kid. He's actually like I guess a more contemporary artist. He actually raps and does R&B. He had an R&B album that came out in the fall. I want to say it charted somewhere, and then he came out with a rap album like a couple months later that charted too,
Oh
which is
wow.
crazy to me. Yeah, like multi-talented. His album that came out in the fall really kind of spoke to the period I was in my life. Um, that's why I really like him. And he's a lyricist. I really like him. And then third would probably be this one tough. Because I'm thinking about all the people I listen to right now. And I listen to a lot of people. Um, but all time, mm, by default, I just want to say Ari Lennox by default.
Oh, okay.
And she
Okay.
got an
I
album
like
coming
Ari
out too.
Lennox.
Yeah, yeah. I really like her. Like really, really, really like her. I like her voice. It's different. Nobody else sounds like her.
Yeah, yeah. Straight up. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, again, if somebody else is up has a question, I can't tell because it's my Oculus is literally still frozen. I got CJ still in the air on my screen. Look like he talking.
Divine, you always have a question. You want to ask him something? No, so nobody's asking the question right now, so you can keep
Okay.
talking if you like.
Okay. I mean, I kind of got into the whole purpose aspect. I did take a few notes, just kind of like some thoughts I had put down. I didn't really look off anything. I wanted to kind of speak from my heart, you know. Didn't want to sound too scripted. Um, Let me kind of retouch on some things. So, my best friend KJ, going back to the whole, you know, kind of like spirituality thing and all that, talking about people's energy and when people pass away, how they impact and how like that wave goes out and everything. When people in your life have an impact on your life, they leave, you know, a part of them in you. So also like leaving, you know, tonight from this space, I do want to leave y'all with like the idea of harnessing people's energy that they leave you with. They don't even have to be gone. They don't have to be passed away. But harnessing people's energy that they give you that's positive and multiply that within yourself to share it with other people. Kind of touched on that a little bit, but for me that's like a real big thing. Like I see all the drama and stuff that be going on here and I'm just like there's a lot more love to go around truly in people than there is hate. But for whatever reason, I don't know, human nature, I don't know. It's kind of addicted to the drama, the hate, the toxicity in relationships, even and stuff like that. So people's energy that they give off, those vibes that we like to say, you know, in 2022, those vibes. um, those good vibes that you get from people, really suck that in, multiply that, and give it back out. I think all this other stuff I have written down here I had already kind of touched on. Um, yeah, we already talked about impact and all that.
So Price, this is Metaclean. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the string of amazing worlds that you've brought to us, what is next for I Go by Price?
Right now, honestly, I'm in a tug of war with my creativity and my inspiration. Um, right now, I'm working on a skating rink because I've been to a couple skating rinks recently. I will honestly say it's because I've been to a couple skating rinks instantly. Um, two of which one was for La Chocolate's birthday, and one, well, actually both of them were. One at Andrew's mansion, and then she created one for her birthday for herself. But being in there, talking about sharing pieces of yourself, La Chocolate, she loves to skate. I don't know if y'all watch her Instagram, but you know, she hurt her ankle skating. Um, so like I was saying earlier, that kind of ties into that. Like she's putting pieces of herself in the metaverse. Um, but I'm creating a skating rink currently that was a big part of my adolescence when I was in middle school. And me and KJ used to go to this every Friday. One of the teachers in my middle school actually owned the local skating rink. So he would give out skating rink passes to students at the school. And on Fridays, it was pretty much like middle school, high school night, essentially. So all the kids from the high school and middle school would come. the local high school and middle school were actually side by side too. You know what I mean? And of course, people with large families, they got brothers and sisters. Like we're all in the same area in the same bubble. But I'm building a skating rink because of the influence from the metaverse of those people's skate rinks that I've seen. It was other people's I've seen too recently outside of La Chocolates. But I'm creating that because of the memories I have in there and what the skating rinks and Horizon Worlds triggered in my mind. It brought back those memories. I literally found a picture today, unintentionally, so it might just be the universe, but unintentionally found a picture today of me inside of the skating rink that I'm recreating essentially. So when I do release it and you all go in there, just know like this is like I built it to a T. Like it's literally from my memory, but I know it looks identical to what it looks like in there. But I built it like because of my past memories there, the happy memories I have spending time with KJ, spending time with other friends, the people I've met, the girls I've danced at these parties at the skating rink and all that stuff. Like all those memories like make me happy. So I wanted to recreate that in this in here too. So people can get a feel of like the skating ring I went to when I was a kid. Cause I'm sure other people skate when they were, a kid. They can compare it to their own. It might inspire them to create their own skating rink, the one that they went to, you know. So that's kind of like where I'm headed with my newest world. There's a couple worlds I've had in my back pocket that I've just kind of like paused. Some of them I spoke about on Instagram on my story, maybe some of them I have not. Um, but moving forward, I definitely want to get into also creating assets and kind of move away from creating worlds. And I'll likely end up creating assets from my childhood or my adulthood that, you know, inspire me in some way or have influenced me in my life. Like if y'all seen the Super Soaker that I posted on Instagram, me and Blizz, Ayo Blizz, intend on making like a summertime water balloon like Super Soaker world. And you play kind of like that, like a shooting game like Arena Clash, but with Super Soakers, and you got water balloons for grenades and stuff like that. So like that triggered me to have those memories from my childhood. That's why I made the Super Soaker too. And the specific one that I had, the one that I created, I had that in the 90s. And everything. I wish I still had it because I thought that thing was so cool. You get toys when you're a kid and they're like so amazing. And it's like when you grow up and look back on it, it was just like just a regular old popular toy. It didn't really have any significance, but to you it meant the world when you got it, kind of thing. Are y'all still there? Because I'm still froze.
Yeah, I
Okay,
actually have
cool.
a question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you I know that you're currently building, this is Chocolate by the way. Um
Patel.
I know that you're currently building here in Horizon. Do you think you'll go to any other app in the future? Like I know that you can create over in VR chat and there's a
Mm-hmm.
couple other places that you can go in and, create. Do you see yourself going to, do projects on those other apps or are you comfortable where you are right now?
Um, Shout out to Jay Dunn, by the way, being comfortable in uncomfortability. Shout out to Jay Dunn. I hope he watching if he not in the room. Um, but I intend to move to other platforms. It definitely will have growing pains because I've become so in love with Horizon Worlds and I have the building process in here to a T. I'm not fond of like 3D modeling and everything, so it'll be like a new venture for me, learning how to do that. Going back to school essentially is what it's going to feel like. But I definitely intend on moving into like alt space and things like that, just because the metaverse, it is not, you know, just Horizon Worlds. Horizon Worlds is one metaverse. You know what I mean? There's other platforms that kind of service people in the same way as Horizon Worlds in a sense. That has features that Horizon Worlds does not have. My grandmother always told me never put all your eggs in one basket. And I think that applies to the metaverse. You're welcome. I'm really hoping I'm unfreezing after like I try to get up or something.
I'm a mute. So no one has a question
Yeah, let me try to do that. Let me see.
Price is doing that. Again, thank y'all for coming. But it's important to stay connected, right? He's talking a lot about purpose, and you don't always really know what a person's purpose is, um, until they share their story. I think you can feel the impact without knowing what the story is. So now his world's hit different. Now you know the space in which he creates from. Um, so really, to be that honest essentially in front of a group of strangers, is impactful. And once again, tears were shed by me and probably some other people in here when you hear the story, of the things he goes through. Um, it hit me probably just as hard too because my best friend also died of cancer at a really young age. And again, he was one of those people that was everybody's best friend. I think we all have one person who is everybody's best friend, and we claim him as our best friend first, right? He was that type of person. But at 23, sorry, 24, you get a phone call, um, about something tragic happening, right? And he told me that he had cancer, but at that age, I had no idea about the impact of what cancer could be. I didn't know anybody that had cancer. I didn't personally know anybody that died of cancer, even though I had family members that did die of cancer. But sometimes with old Black people, you never really get the whole story. You just get that they're sick and you don't know why. So, in him telling me that story of him having cancer, he didn't tell us the part that he had 6 months to live. So the exact same thing kind of happened. I was in Virginia at the time. My cousin and I went to go visit him at Walter Reed Hospital, and he was almost unrecognizable, from the amount of weight he lost. Granted, this was a person, he was always the strongest out of all of us. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, was best friends with everybody, including teachers. He was just that person. But to see him unrecognizable, then the weight of mortality hits you, and you realize that, man, he's really not going to make it. Like, we can be optimistic, but we also have to be extremely realistic about these situations. And it affected me for a long time. Even now to this day, on his birthday, December 18th, we all the friends that are together in that group will call each other every single year, even if we haven't spoken throughout the year on his birthday, just to stay connected and check up on each other. So I think sometimes, and again, just my personal opinion, that God puts us through a journey. Um, I think He puts us through a journey, that we can't always explain, right? It makes no sense for a person that young of age and that impactful to be taken from us, and right when we're still learning from that person. But there's a reason all these things happen. Had that not happened, we wouldn't have had the privilege to share Price in the way that we're able to share him. He wouldn't be able to make the impact that he's making into so many people's lives without having been poured into from KJ. So I don't know why God makes the decisions He makes. I don't know why He puts the people in our lives, but I know every single thing that happens to us has to happen from a sense of purpose, and we have to learn from it. Everything. There is no good and bad. They're just lessons. Every single thing we do is a lesson. So just remember that as you're interacting with people, man. When we're unable to deal with something, and our first instinct is to lash out, sometimes it might just be better to just take a step back and breathe for a minute, right? Because you lashing out is going to impact somebody whether you know it or not. And I just don't feel it's necessary always to share everything when we're going through our pain, because our pain is then reflected onto somebody else, and we just don't know how people are going to react to it. So, Price is back. Thank you, Price. I'm gonna let you take back over.
Okay. All right, I can see y'all now. Is it any other questions or anything? Because I think I am done with what I needed to say and my purpose here in Horizon Worlds. I do want to say shout out to Rupert, man. Don't take this one wrong way, but I look at you as like an uncle, man. I swear I think of you as like an uncle.
Drew.
Wherever Uncle Roop, hey, because the advice that you give me, like you feel like an uncle to me. The wisdom you instill in me, the encouragement, and everything, like it's really appreciated. And like I speak for the community when I say thank you for everything that you do, the platform that you have here, for people like me to come up here and share a piece of ourselves and our story. Yeah, no problem. You got a question, Angel?
I came late. I'm sorry. But
It's
I
all
wanted to
good. I
come in here and
froze.
give you your flowers. You are an
I appreciate that.
amazing creator. I remember the first time I met you was you were the only person that came into my world and legit left, changed outfits, came back in, took a picture, left, changed outfits, had the whole rainbow assortment for the
Yeah.
color factor. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
I
And
was
then to
pressed.
go from there and just kind of be like that consumer to just going straight from there to the R&B world was just like mind blowing. I was just like, this can't even be the same person that was just consumer, in the world. And then like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a big change. And I was so like happy. I mean, I'm always happy when my friends, say that they don't want to build. And then when they do build, it's like spectacular. So it's just like,
Yeah.
keep doing you, keep flourishing. Me and you, we have like this, we're just different, and you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But we're
The
so
right
cool.
words.
And I'm so
Yeah.
glad of your success and your progress. And I hope you keep just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I
So here's your
appreciate that. That means
flowers,
a
here's your
lot.
bouquet and all that good stuff.
Thank you. Let me catch some things real quick. Anybody else have a question?
And
Oh,
also, I just got my logo from Price, and it is absolutely fire. So if you don't got a
oh
logo
yeah.
made by Price, what is you doing? You must not be a creator or anybody of business, because those logos was made real fast, turnaround time excellent. So get your
Yeah, I
logos from
appreciate
Price.
that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep. Jungle logo coming soon. Hopefully by the end of the night, actually. Yeah. Any other questions or
To add to this, I'm sorry, Dunn
yeah.
said that he is watching, so he is watching you.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. He inspires me in here too. Shout out to Thicky. She just sent me thanks. I don't know if she's in the audience or not, but I appreciate that.
Oh, Dame, go ahead and you're on mute.
Hey, these chairs are awesome.
So hit your chair again. There you go.
Wow, Rupert, you definitely stepped up your game, bro. And I know better than to call you uncle. Thank you, sir.
I meant that with the utmost
Yeah.
respect. Respectfully.
Yeah, but some people call me uncle too. So we appreciate that for us men who can employ wisdom on other people. Price,
Yeah.
I just had a quick question for you, just an off side question. All right.
Yeah.
I like survival shows, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out what survival show would be the best. But let me ask you, which one would you like better? Naked and Afraid or Alone? If you had to choose one.
And I've seen all these briefly. I would probably have to say Alone. Naked and Afraid seems cool, but I think Alone is more my speed. Because if I remember correctly, like they're just put out into an area kind of like I don't know if they're really that far apart from each other, but they're literally put out into the wilderness with like minimal supplies by themselves, and they gotta like live, find a way to survive, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Naked and Afraid, you basically have a partner with you. Alone is more or less you're out there with your tools and you can create. You can build your
Gotcha.
shelter, you can build your home, you can build whatever you want. Naked and Afraid is more or less you got to learn how to build with another person. So it's a great question to kind of figure
Yeah,
out
it's multi-layered.
what type of what type of
Yeah.
person you may be hanging out with. Everybody is their own person,
Yeah.
but it's one of those
Yeah.
great questions to kind of figure out, okay, would you rather be
Yes.
alone or would you rather be naked and afraid? Would you rather build with somebody or would you rather build by yourself? So thank you so much.
Yeah, I like that question. But quickly to answer that actually, because that's a pretty quick answer I have for that. It would definitely be Alone. Because I don't run with like particular people in here. I do have my people I'm close with, of course, but I don't favor like any particular group or person or anything like that in particular, because the type of person I am, I normally want to take the lead. So to avoid kind of like a bunch of like back and forth or anything because I disagree with something you might be doing, I prefer to build by myself. And also because I have the creative ability to build by myself. But early on, I kind of understood like the benefit of collabing with somebody. You know what I mean? To bring exposure to not only myself, but to that other person as well. So I have done collaborations with people and I intend to do more. I know I've told actually quite a few people I want to collab with them. I just right now I'm kind of, I don't want to say getting burnt out, but I'm getting burnt out a little bit. So it might be time for me to take a break or whatever. And that's why I said I was gonna go into assets because that's a little more chill. You don't have a whole world to build. You have one particular item. And I intend on maybe making some assets for me personally and like max out a world on the asset or something like that. I think will be cool to see how much functionality I can get out of one object. You know what I mean? Um, but I think that would be my response to that particular question. Yeah, appreciate that question. You got a question, sis, or you just that was an accident? I don't know what's about to come
They
out your
wasn't trying to
mouth.
let me get my question. I was gonna get mine because I'm gonna tell you
I know
right
you
now.
was.
Because I'm sitting there like you gonna it's not let me touch nothing. I had to leave up out of here. But listen. Okay, I'm gonna be serious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be serious. Cause you had me all listen. If you paying for this Oculus, if I got water damage on everything, let me tell you
Hey,
right now.
I think something wrong with
Had
mine
me
now.
in here choking, had my inhaler and everything. Child. I was like, Lord, close call. Had me
Yeah.
coughing and everything. But you already know I got love for you. You've been
Likewise.
holding me down for a minute now.
Mhm.
And I just have to say, I appreciate you for your kindness, your openness, your advice, your vulnerability. I have two brothers, but I don't see
Mhm.
them often. So you instantly became a brother,
I
and I
appreciate that.
appreciate you always being so open to give kudos and come out and see what people are producing.
Mhm.
The way that you build, you would think that
Come on
the
now.
way that you build, you would think that it takes you aback when someone of your caliber comes out and visits and stays and talks and chills and hangs out, reaches out even off of here. That's big. I don't have many friends, okay?
Mhm.
I don't have a whole lot of friends, but I'm happy that since I've been here, we became family, and I'm not gonna get choked up. Lord help me.
Yeah, you about to
Okay,
get me started again.
I
I
feel
got a
it. I
problem.
feel it, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Just know if you need anything, I got your back. I'm so overwhelmed at what you shared. This
Thank
was
you.
everything. This was
Yeah, I
everything.
appreciate that, sis. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I just want to say, and this isn't a question, but if you haven't seen Price physically, he's not a sensitive looking dude. Like he's a larger individual but is really in touch with his feelings, which sometimes in our community that's almost taboo because when you're especially a male of a certain
Mhm.
size, you're supposed to be acting a certain way, right? And his vulnerability is his superpower. It's not his strength, it's not his size. It's the way he's able to let down his barriers when the time is right to share a piece of himself. And I gotta say, man, it's a breath of fresh air to see that because again, I think in this space when people appear and present themselves because we don't know who they are, they can
Yeah.
present any type of image that they want to. There's a lot of machismo going on in here
Mhm.
unnecessarily, right? And because of that, that causes a lot of the toxicity and the problem is when people don't want to back down and admit that they're incorrect about something. So I just want to give you kudos for that, man. Because again, you could have shown up in any light. We know you're a biggest football fan, even though your choice of teams might be questionable. But
HTTR, man.
you know, but just thank you for being authentic and honest. And I think that authenticity and honesty comes through your bills, and I think that's why the people love what you have to offer us. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I agree with you. And kind of touching on like the whole like the stigma or aspect, I don't know, like that men, aren't emotional, can't cry.
Right.
That was definitely me less than a year ago. Like me and my personality actually, like I don't show emotion for real. But things have happened in the past, I don't know, close to a year. Close to a year. Things have happened in my life where I had a turning point. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this, but like I don't know, something seems different in the world to me. I feel a shift. I don't know what it is, but I feel the shift, and I felt the shift in myself. And so I can feel myself turning a corner and changing. I wasn't so emotional before. I probably wouldn't have cried up here before, but I don't know, something in me has changed. So to kind of piggyback, or as last girl on earth would say, veggie back, veggie back off of you. Yeah, I agree with you with that sentiment. Yeah. Shout out to her if she's watching. Shout out to all my people. Shout out to everybody. Y'all know who y'all are. A lot of y'all are in here actually. But I don't know if there are going to be any more questions, but before everybody gets up,
Yes, I wanna ask
I
a
do want to
question.
take a picture of everybody, and like from my perspective, real quick, just so I could get a picture for the Instagram real quick. I'm gonna count to 3. If everybody could throw some confetti or something. 1, 2, 3. Can I get the? I can't tell if y'all throwing confetti or not. Hold up. Hold on, my bad. Hold on. I got a ghetto controller. It got stick drift. 1, 2, 3. All right, let me see if I got that. If not, I might have to get y'all to do that again. I got a little bit of confetti. It'll suffice. I appreciate y'all.
Prize, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can read them. How you doing?
You a crybaby? So no, let me stop. I'm just
I am a
playing.
cryberry baby tonight. Yeah.
I'm
But
just
tomorrow,
playing.
you know what time it is. No, I'm saying.
No. I'm just playing. I appreciate you. Like you
Yeah, I
really,
appreciate you too.
you are really a kind, very kind person. And thank you for, you know, I feel like thank you for whenever I'm feeling like really low,
Hmm.
just not telling me, oh, you're being too extra, you're being too. Thank you. Like
You're
I feel
welcome.
like you're a very good friend. You're a very good person. And even though I came in here late, I heard the
It's
last
all
part of
good.
what you said, and that was very deep. I needed to hear that, but I'm definitely proud of you.
Thank you.
And you know what? I really wanted to ask you.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you, when did you become confident in your work to start doing things alone, or have you ever? I mean, have you always built by yourself?
Um, I've always from the beginning built by myself. And I actually just had a recording done, kind of improv of the R&B lounge. Like before it was like I'm gonna say quote unquote perfect, the old R&B lounge. Um, La Chocolate was in there with me because I wanted to get a video of my R&B lounge before I updated it. So I found the R&B lounge, the one where it was like early on. It wasn't the first publish of it. It was probably like the second publish of it, which was really only like a week or two later. And when I went in there, I remembered who I met in there. I met Biggie Pauls in there. I met CJ Shotlow in there. I met Tris Press too. I met Alloy. I met Alone in Tokyo. I met a couple other people in there. It was like a group. We were world hopping at the time. I had just started building. It had been like a week and a half from when I started it, and then I had updated it like a week after. But that particular world, going back and looking at it, like nothing was snapped in there. I didn't know what a snap tool was. And even when I found out what it was, I didn't know how it worked. I didn't understand fully how the snap tool really worked until me and Dot was working on that. I think it's like a 1986 Jeep Wagoneer, and I was constructing the outside. He was going to be focusing on the interior because he does a dope job on that. And I didn't reach full potential, in my opinion, until I started working on that car, and I really got a feel for how the snap tool like really worked and everything. Um, because that car I haven't really like put it in any worlds or anything like that, but I've posted it to my Instagram. But that car I'm really proud of because it like is the cleanest car I've made. I gave out Waukesha for free. And every time I was dropping Waukesha in the world for somebody like that, and there's been a lot of people that has gotten that car at this point, and I'm gonna hopefully world hop and see what everybody's done with it. But when I look at Waukesha now, I'm like, man, she is so ugly, but she look good at the same time because she's a representation of where I've come from as a builder. You know what I mean? And then I look at, new stuff and like, wow, I see my progression. Like I just made a post too about my cars and I set the three cars, I think it's three cars that I've made since the beginning when I made that box Chevy for that first show that where I met Metaclean Rupert for the first time. I knew his name, but I had never met him before. And then come to find out we went to the same university, which is dope. It's all family, all love all the time. You got another question?
I do have another question. Well, it's not even
Okay.
a question. It's just something that I observed that you always um like even when it like from the car shows to any type of competition that you like how do you maintain a positive attitude or just a determination to like consistently like put yourself out there and be just competitive like in competitive events like no matter when you're
Yeah.
creating things I've seen like you always just keep this positive mindset and this confidence about you even when even if you don't come in first but then you do other things and then you come in first so like what is the like motivation behind like oh it's I wouldn't even say motivation but how do you um like when you do things like when you create things especially
hmm
from the car shows etc how do you maintain your inspiration or your confidence even when you don't come in first.
Um, Shout out to Bird. I don't think he in here no more, but he was talking about anything you create in here is in competition. We had a
Mm.
conversation in the DMs on Instagram about that, and because I made the point like I'm not in competition with anybody in here. Only person I'm in competition with is myself. Like that's literally it. Like, and I actually, it's funny. I kind of did like a little. It was supposed to be like a joke, but I made a post a while back. I don't know if anybody in here saw it, but I made a post like that somebody was hating on me and called me like a not good builder essentially. But it was a joke. It was a lie. It was me that was saying that because I was battling against myself to create something better because I started to feel complacent and I wanted to try to elevate. And I ended up succeeding in that. Um because that was like right before I released the basement. And the basement was my first world that had like such a large kind of reaction, honestly, because the R&B lounge in my opinion was kind of like a secret, I don't know, like the best kept secret in the metaverse and Horizon Worlds in a sense. Because really and truthfully, it didn't get as much traction as people may think, but the people who saw it, it's something special for them.
Well, I think everything that you've built is is timeless and it will always be a vibe. So if you do an event in the R&B lounge, I'm gonna pull up because that's basically where we met and I've had nothing but good experiences there. But I just see you getting better and better in terms of like the kind of experiences and Rupert always says that like he's always talking about how impressed he is with you
Mhm.
and I think we're all proud that you're still here. So I like I'm inspired, especially in the basement because I just the events that you hold. I meet so many new people in there
Yeah.
and it's just like always it's fun. Um and your fun is and you're fun. So just thank you. You're
Yeah, I
dope.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. And about the basement too. Tomorrow night, gonna try to kick back. I'm out of town, by the way, y'all. I'm sorry. I know people have been DMing me about the events and the lack of them. I'm out of town and I don't have my DJ, so I have not been able to host my events like I wanted to. But tomorrow, my boy Shot Low, my boy CJ, my brother, he's gonna let me use the DJ. So I intend to do another theme night in the basement. And it's gonna be 504. She's gonna be a special guest. It's gonna be themed around like where she's from. So it's gonna be a lot of New Orleans music in there. Some Master P, Silk the Shocker, Lil Wayne, those kind of vibes. So that's normally that's gonna be 8 to 12 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So if y'all looking for something to do tomorrow night, don't have nothing to do, come out to the basement to hear the Louisiana sound. It's funny, I didn't think this was really gonna last a long time, but we in here now almost an hour and a half.
Any other questions for Price?
I appreciate all the questions too, y'all. It's all love.
If anyone does have a question, grab the red card. Your seat will elevate and you'll go global. So if you do have a question, just grab the red card and your seat will elevate and you'll go global. All right. So, wait,
we
one
got
second.
one.
The chocolate.
You know, I'm here to get on your nerves. So have you
Yeah.
come across, and this is, I guess, a candid question, but have
Yeah.
you come across any worlds that you in particularly can say that you were 100% inspired by? Like a world in here that was like, damn, besides the skating rink, just something that you were like, damn, I want to do something similar to that. And that you've gone through with doing it. Any worlds in here that you can say?
That I've been influenced by another world to create that particular world.
Or
Is that what you mean?
something, yeah, something near it.
Trying to think through all my worlds. The only one that really stands out is the R&B Lounge. I got into Horizon Worlds, I think late December, I believe. I got my Oculus like a week before Christmas. I won my Oculus at work and I didn't even know what it was. And I got it. And my son happened to be getting one for Christmas. My mom bought him one just randomly, like bought him one for Christmas. So we both have one. And I got on Horizon Worlds in like late December, early January. And because I had venues first. But when I got on here, those people who came in around that time can contest or like say also that Vivid by Danica and then also Hardy World were like the two main worlds for like people that look like me, essentially. Um and they kind of like inspired me to create the R&B Lounge because I had a passion for music way before Horizon Worlds. People I wonder sometimes if people think it's a gimmick, like how I post R&B music and stuff, but like it's real. Like that's how I really am. But seeing those club spaces in Hardy World, really, it wasn't even a club. He had a club coming, Club 90, at the time that he was telling me about. But Hardy World wasn't even a club. It was just kind of like a hangout spot. But it's still like seeing our culture in here inspired me to create something, another aspect, slice of the pie of our culture, which is R&B music, starting to get into like the emotional side, the love and all that stuff, because it wasn't a space for that. And I was inspired by a couple of different things to create that. And yeah, I was influenced from Vivid and Hardy World to create the R&B Lounge, on top of other things that are layered into there that some people know about, but not everybody. Because, like I said, there's a story behind like every single world I've made. There's some kind of story embedded in there. Every single one.
Okay. Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think with your club, you think you're going to be working on like a radio show maybe like in the metaverse if that's possible?
I don't know. I mean, but I'm not gonna limit myself though. Like By radio show, do you mean like a podcast?
Podcast, radio show, so you still
Yeah.
play the music.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing something like that. I've actually been like asked to be on a bunch of podcasts in here. But I don't know. It would be something I would consider to do like a podcast that I am the host of, that I created. Yeah. I think that would be kind of cool. And it might be cool to even host it in the R&B lounge and put like a sofa up on the stage or something to host shows. Yeah. Have an audience out on the dance floor. Thank you for that idea.
All right. Any other questions for Price?
I appreciate all the questions too, y'all.
All right. So I don't think we have any more questions. So Price, tell people where they can find you, how they should find you, what road should they take to learn who you are.
Okay. Literally every social media platform I go by Price. This was my art like name before I got into the metaverse. I was doing stipplings. If you scroll far enough down my Instagram page, you'll run into like my actual artwork that I used to do prior to getting in here, and everything else changed. But everything is I go by Price. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's all I go by Price. Cash App, I go by Price. Not that y'all need to know that.
You hear that plug? Cash App.
Yeah, it's all I go by Price. Yeah. Stay pretty consistent, as y'all, probably know. Try to be pretty consistent.
So I do know you're making a slight change into what you're doing now. You're not just world building, right? I think
Yeah.
Angel touched on it of what you got going on now. You want to tell the people and give a shameless plug?
Yeah, shameless plug. Yeah, I do logos. They're $50 up front. But I'll make sure you're out the door happy though. It's been a fun journey doing logos. Because I get to know people in a sense too. Because when I talk to people when they ask for a logo, I ask them things about themselves that they may want to incorporate it to make their logo them. You know what I mean? Like that's my thing, and I've said this before on my Instagram too. I'm always on Instagram. But like when people see your logo, if you're in here, you're serious, you want to like do branding and everything, when they see your logo, they should see you. Like that's why my logo is so prominent in my worlds too. If you all been to the update of you, me, and 143 questions, my logo is huge in that waterfall. It's like a statement. Like I want you to know it's me when you come in there. Same reason I kept the same theme in my worlds for like being in space in the clouds. Some people call it heaven because I got the gates at the R&B lounge. But yeah, just staying consistent and getting the logo will really definitely help you, advance in here and creating a brand in here. Hopefully soon in the fall, I gotta continue to reach out to some people to help me with some clothing. But I'm gonna be coming out with some merchandise for my brand out in the real world. I just been kind of procrastinating and getting caught up in here building and stuff that I haven't really done the homework and everything. But there will be something coming that people could purchase to have my brand outside of the metaverse for my supporters and everything.
All right, awesome. So don't let that go over your heads about branding, because if you really want to be established in here, and if you really want to be established in here, right, people have to recognize you and see where to go. It's not about vanity, right? But if you want to conduct business, then branding is an essential part of that business plan. So people know when I see his logo in front of a world, I know what to expect from the quality that he's shown in the past, right? So I think it's necessary for us not to be so random with everything we do sometimes, even though we love to world hop and that's a very random thing. But I think you have to move with intent and purpose within this space if you want to see some results. And it's, again, we're virtual, but that's what we would do in the physical world, and it's not really that different here virtually, other than the fact that we're half a person. Someone said, "Half man, all amazing." That's what I will sum you up as. And I'm a hip hop fan, not hip hop first, R&B second. So I understand the reference. That's a Nas reference, right? Half man, half amazing. But he's half a man, but all amazing. So, man,
Appreciate
brother,
that.
we really, really appreciate you being here. Any
Yeah.
parting words before we wrap it up?
Yeah, actually, the shout out to Last Girl again, veggie back off of you. Um, oh, she don't eat meat, so she wanted me to say veggie back. But um, there's been a lot of recent conversations about people stealing stuff. Well, that's actually been a conversation for quite some time in here, on and off. But about people stealing stuff, branding is a big part of helping you protect yourself. You know what I mean? Not even talking about who you add as editor or anything like that, but post your work. You know what I mean? Post your work on social media. If you don't have an Instagram for your account and you're a creator in here, come on, let's get it together. Make you an account. You know what I mean? Post your stuff on social media. And I mean, like, if you're trying to get noticed in here, post your stuff. Post it on Twitter. Horizon Worlds is not really flooded on Twitter. So if you post your stuff on Twitter, tag Horizon Worlds, hashtag, they will see you faster than they likely will see you on a Facebook group or potentially on Instagram. I know they're getting better with it and reaching out and, communicating with their community of creators and stuff in here, but post your stuff. Because when you talk about people kind of whatever taking ideas or whatever the case may be, if you care about that kind of thing, like if you post your stuff, you post your logo, like you share it enough and you have passion for your work, people will see it and know. So you don't have to worry about people necessarily taking your stuff or at least taking it without you knowing. Because I know y'all probably know about the situation with the Waukesha car, but the only reason I found out about that is because I post my stuff enough for people to know. They know my logo, they know my color scheme, they know. And so when someone saw it, they reached out to me and let me know. So that's another thing, benefit of branding and stuff like that. You putting your footprint, your fingerprint on stuff. So if something come up, kind of shady, missing or whatever stolen, like it'll be quicker for you to find out, quicker you try to resolve that issue and all that kind of stuff. Like I ain't necessarily want to leave off with that, but I felt like it was important to say because it's been a conversation I've seen multiple times. So you got a question?
I agree.
What is some ways, like different ways? Like, should I like put like a logo in my room? Should I like put a logo? Like
Mhm.
have a color scheme, and what else should I have so that it doesn't get copied like that? And should I minimize how many people are editing my world?
Oh yeah, yeah. You should definitely minimize who's editing your world. I'll start with the last part of that question. Definitely minimize who is an editor on your world. And honestly, I wouldn't add anybody if you don't talk to them like every day. Almost. That's me personally. If you don't talk to them every day, you don't necessarily know them that well, in my opinion. So add them to a blank world, tell them to drop whatever they're working on with you, just to protect yourself. And hopefully there's no hard feelings. Hopefully they understand, but that's a way to protect yourself. Because unfortunately, Horizon Worlds hasn't created too many things as of yet to protect creators from getting their stuff stolen. Like personally feel like it shouldn't be anything to be able to lock an asset and make it where it has an access code to edit or something like that. I don't know. But I feel like that should be something they need to add in here for that. But back to the other part of your question, though, it's very important if you're going to intend to brand yourself to keep things consistent. Um, you don't have to do that all the time, but I would say keep it consistent on a relatively regular basis because there might be a world that doesn't fit within your niche in here. Like my niche is like music. Like a lot of my worlds revolve around music, and the music is what brings people together. The themes that I do and everything. But whatever your niche is, you stick with it. Try to stick with that color scheme. If you have a logo, make sure your logo is in all your worlds, is visible, and everything. And the more you create and the more people come to your worlds, they'll start seeing a pattern. Because I had people who came to me who didn't know I created other worlds, like for instance, my R&B lounge, and they went there and they saw my logo and they were like, oh, this is the guy that built the barbershop. Oh, this is the guy that built the basement. Oh, you know what I mean? Because they see that consistency. And then they start to see a pattern and you end up with a following at that point. You know what I mean? Because people in here love the vibe of places. Like it don't even have to be necessarily well built. If the energy in there is right and it's consistently right, the same energy in all your worlds, you won't have an issue like creating a brand for yourself. I honestly created a brand for myself in here unintentionally. Like I was just creating stuff that I wanted to create, and people felt like the love and the spirit and everything that I put into my world. They felt the music that I listened to. You know what I mean? I was very intentional with that playlist that I made for my first R&B lounge, and that was the number one thing people were drawn to was that playlist. I don't know if Isha's in here. Yeah, she is still. Like she's one of those people like that would go in there and just sit down, by herself and listen to the music like I did too. Like I don't know if Jay Dunn is still watching, but I met him in my R&B lounge just hanging out in my own space because I wanted to be there. I loved it. You know what I mean? You got another question? Oh, we got more questions. Hold on.
My bad, man. I came
Oh,
late.
you good? No, it's all
You
good.
know, I don't get out a lot. But
No, it's all good.
I do want to say something real quick. I know
Go
everybody
what's
tired. My
more
bad.
simple to live.
Divine, you good?
You're global.
Huh?
You're global.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can hear
just
Oh,
just
shit.
Yeah, I heard what you said
go up
about me.
and go down
No, I'm
again.
playing with you. But I
Know
was
what
gonna
you did
tell you,
last
man.
summer?
You know, it was funny because when I started scripting like advanced, and I don't really, I'm good at novice building right now. But when I was
Mhm.
like just snapping stuff together, I used to mess with somebody that gave out free assets, and I didn't know until I met you that symbol. You know what I'm saying? I had the
Yeah.
car, and when I had the car, I was like,
Mhm.
you know, who this came from, and I thought it was the person I got the asset from. I'm not naming names because I don't do
Oh
that.
wow.
But you
This
know,
is
I didn't know,
hilarious.
and when I
Yeah,
saw it
yeah.
was from you, and I never put it in my world or anything. I just had it as
Yeah.
an asset just for one day we could drive through different worlds.
Mhm.
And then when we met and stuff, I was like, man, you know, I gotta make sure I stop you one day, even though I'm always busy building stuff. I'm on 101 worlds to tell you
Yeah,
thank you, you know,
yeah.
because me not knowing you, but something you created, your heart was in it. It made me create something else out of it.
That's
You
what it's
feel me?
about.
So
Yeah.
I just, you know, I know I'm late, but I'm just trying to tell you, man, I appreciate you. And
Yeah.
for the person that asked about the security thing, I do want to mention one thing, if I can say real fast. Best thing y'all could do on security, if you have somebody in the world edit, I don't care who it is, I don't trust nobody. People that know me, I don't trust nobody. And what I do in my world, I put in a little spot somewhere, a VIP script that when I touch it, my name pop up all over the world. You see, and they don't know where it's at. It's scripted. Only when I touch it, it happens, and that's it. And I have a license in it, so you have to get past my license, meaning you have to delete the whole script. So that's something you should focus on doing, where you put in a very specific spot that nobody knows, not even your editors know. So if somebody steal your world, you go in like, oh, this is my world. Look, watch this. Steve. My name pop up everywhere in the
Wow.
world.
That's dope. That's dope.
But that's it. I don't want to keep going too long.
Hey, if you
Love
catch
you, brother.
somebody, yeah, love you too, bro. If you catch somebody doing that, like, please record that because I just want to see your name pop up in
Well,
their
you know
face.
what I do for a living, right? Look, you know I do VR Crime Watch, man. I got names
Oh,
in
man.
my office. We're gonna talk. I'll show
Yeah.
you what it is.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's dope.
All right. So, any other questions for Price? All right, man. I think we're ready to wrap it up. What you think?
Yeah, I think so. I appreciate
So
you.
listen, man, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for all you do for the community. Seriously. If y'all haven't checked out Price's Worlds, man, go and check. Yeah, get some confetti. Get some confetti. Show the love. Show the
Appreciate
love.
y'all.
Y'all can all get off mute if y'all want to. Y'all can all get off mute. But if you haven't seen any of his worlds, man, it truly is an experience. It really is an experience. And the positivity and the positive attitudes is something we need more of in this space, right? No matter all the toxicity that we see, when there's enough light, that becomes irrelevant. So just keep shedding light, keep doing awesome things. And Price, we thank you for having us tonight. Thank you for making it to the stage. Thank you for sharing and being so candid with us. So that's it, y'all. The show is about to wrap. Again, you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be with us tonight. So we appreciate you. We really, really do. And thank you for coming out. So let's network.
Thank y'all.
Have like kind of
Hey, what's up, girl?
What's up? Thank you.
Hey,
So,
Thanks for coming out.
Of
Thanks for
course.
coming out.
Of course.
Yeah,
I was
appreciate
trying to
you.
get in earlier, but it was packed.
Oh yeah, it was full.
Yeah, it's been a long
I was in the wrong server for a
No
little bit.
problem. I couldn't miss it. I have a question. What's up, Ben?
Is it recording?
This blue chat.
What's up,
I'm
Ben?
in love with that
Hey, y'all.
idea.
Hey. What's
I'm
up?
in love with
Appreciate
that.
you.
Learn a little bit
working.
better. I'm a late comer. I didn't get into like
Hey,
know.
CJ.
March.
What's up,
I don't know.
Uncle?
Oh yeah.
March or April. March or April. We know everybody know you.
Oh, it's in my heart.
I appreciate you, man.
But yeah, fam.
Oh, I would love
Yeah,
that.
man.
Thank
I
you
feel
so
you.
much.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
What up, bro?
Show.
What's going on, bro?
Hey.
Not much, man.
Got a nigga over here crying and shit.
Not you was
We all
crying.
up in the chat. We all up in the chat talking about.
We all in the chat over here like, what?
Ourselves. Yes. Right.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for coming.
Can
We
you
gotta
hear
get
me?
a picture.
I
everybody
just
can
love, I
benefit.
love your mind. I
That was
love it. I
good.
absolutely love it. Yes.
You know, I come from a place
Oh,
where I wasn't always
Hold on, let me
appreciated
see if I
Right.
got
for
everybody.
the way I
Hold on,
looked.
where you at,
And
Nikki?
whoa.
There you go.
as a
1,
youngster,
2, 3.
I dealt with a lot of that stuff in
There we go.
the wrong way.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Extra
now that
cheesy.
I'm older and
Big ass
it's
smile.
easier for me to do it because I've been through the journey, right? I
Oh,
I'm
it's
realize
glad my
that
controller
cute.
didn't
I
die.
don't need people's validation to feel
I'm surprised I
important.
didn't die.
Like
Right.
the way
Whoa,
I
it
impact
disappeared.
people is
Hold on,
how I
Awesome.
feel
I'll give you
important,
another
whether
drink.
they receive the impact or not receive the impact.
I should have wore something
I'm
purple. I
going to
just
give it
now
freely
realized it.
and willingly,
You
and
know,
Oh,
Ah,
that's
make a
nice.
difference.
I got the lavender
To
on
make
now.
someone's life a little bit easier to get through the day.
Yes,
Life is
so.
very short
Alrighty.
Yes,
I'm
it
gonna
is.
head out.
and I can
Have a
trust
good
my
night,
process,
guys. Have a
then
good
Good night.
night.
Good night. Good night. Good
small
night.
things
Good
I'm
night.
about to
can
go into build
get
mode.
better.
all right, Nick.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
go through
That
my own
All right, I'll
struggles sometimes and
send you
Right,
that
yeah.
video later.